Namaste. Welcome to Light, Laughter, and Lattes. My name is Geri Habstritt, and my co host, Patty Peterson, are glad to be with you all today on this beautiful November Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month. Talking to you about embracing clarity, kind of a perfect time right now as we are just stepping out of the October energy of experience that we went through, moving into our last choice month of 2022. So it's a perfect time to get really clear, to take a look at your clarity, how you know if you're clear or not, what can help your clarity, how your body might be showing you where you need to be more clear. And right, our body is the biggest truth detector we have, and so is medical intuitives. We're glad to go over that. So if you happen to be here, jump in the chat and say hi. We love to hear from you. We love to know who's there. We do have the call line open as well. So if you want to call in and add to the show, you are welcome to do that as well. And welcome to Oneness Talk Radio Facebook, Oneness Talk Radio YouTube, and wherever you might catch us at a later date on a podcast. We are just glad you're here and happy that you joined in and are listening to our show. So with that, let's embrace some clarity, Patty.
Yes.
So talking about clarity, I've got a number of things to share as I'm moving through a big moment in my life that is going to offer more clarity. What did November, not November, but October show you? I mean, usually by the end of the month, we're pretty clear on what we need to look at more, even if it's not an awareness month.
Well, yeah, and that depends on how aware we are or not, how much we're paying attention or not,
Right.
or, how distracted we are, or, some of us swim in overwhelm at times. And so how aware to our clarity are we? And I think he is, to really watch the judgments, because clarity can come to us through some challenges sometimes, like, bang our head against the wall, over and over until we go, whoa, okay, I think it's time to stop, doing it this way and reevaluate, what am I getting clear about in this? And I know for me, especially, October is rich, a very rich month. And we had an eclipse, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Shining greater light. And for me, as I often share in the podcasts, is, a lot of my learning comes through relationship, and it does for all of us, but this is a big area for me, especially partnership type of relationship, but all relationship with all people, because a lot of things became more clear even with some friends and through clients, right? So yeah, I had a few areas of old pieces, which we may all have, especially when we come through an eclipse, right, Geri?
Mm-hmm.
Where we may have remnants around an old belief, an old limiting area or trauma that, and light was shown on that for me, where I still held some remnants around abandonment and being left and rejected. And we've all got this. And this is a lot with those lower chakras. And so I had perfect opportunities. And sometimes it was through feeling a little bit, whatever the emotions go with that. But to look at that, to then, wow, and we can talk about ways to heal all kinds of things, but to lift above it. And it was beautiful things. And then some beautiful miracles started showing up more clearly to me. Right. And so that's just like an overview. And I know, at least for a lot of my clients, that they also were getting, wherever we may have a certain theme, that they had the opportunity to finally let that go.
Right.
We step into the November choice.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know is what typically will happen with clarity, right, is we have a intention, whether it be a sacred intention or not. but I believe our clarity will follow our intention, right? So if our intention is to lift into higher states of consciousness, or it maybe to be the best that we can be, or maybe it is to self-heal, right? Then our energy will follow that. Things will go out and reflect to us, where we are on that. Oftentimes I get my greatest clarity on things when I make a declaration, and it's a positive one. We were just talking about this, like I've been having my hair fall out, lots of hair I've been losing on this ascension journey. And for me, if I say my hair is full and abundant and shiny, and this is what I have to say. So then the reflections will start coming back to me. Biotin will show up everywhere. And then there was a hair product that kept showing up first by you, and then it just appeared from somewhere. And I didn't even know that you were both giving me the same thing until I confirmed back to you, what was the name of that again? I'm like, oh, it's the same one. Okay, so I'm getting clear. So that's where I get my clarity on my intentions, is when I claim, it's not when I say, dang, this damn hair, I'm losing my hair. Oh God, I feel terrible.
Right. That's the piece. You're not coming from fear, adding to it, right?
Right. Right. I'm stating what I want. I'm stating my
Yes.
intention very loud and clear.
Yes.
This is what or my body is happy and balanced in perfect harmony and great vitality, right? And I make those statements, and that's when the universe starts showing me what I need to make that happen. And so that's one way that I get good clarity, right? What are some ways, besides relationships? So that's relationships, you can see patterns. Oftentimes the pattern will show up, whether it be a family member, whether it be a friend, whether it be a partner, right? There'll be a pattern of energies that will come through all of them, right? And then so you will know, well, I'm the common denominator in this trio, or whatever it is. And you can get clear on what it is in with you that you need to change, or you have the opportunity to change
exactly.
if you want.
Right. Yeah. Now we have this opportunity, or this choice.
Right.
What am I going to focus on? What might need more healing, more love, more compassion? And in this deeper self-knowledge is huge, right?
Yes.
To keep accessing that and not being in this denial, and gaining those beautiful pearls of wisdom and clarity, and to trust our own, what it is we got from that. Someone else may give us their perspective, but we've, that deep knowing and feeling, no, this is what I'm claiming, this is what I'm understanding, instead of swallowing, well, somebody said this with, greater emotion and power, and so I'm not going to trust my own clarity. And then what may show up?
Are you talking about me, Patty? No, as you're sharing this, I'm thinking about, I sent you a message like maybe a month ago. Are you going to Egypt? Nope, it's not for me. I don't think so. And
I didn't say it exactly. I said it.
Well,
I wasn't sure about it yet, because I told you how I feel. I feel very connected to Egypt. I had not.
Right.
Yeah,
For the trip, you weren't feeling it then.
Right. I wasn't sure about it yet.
Right. And then after some time, then you're like, okay, I totally got it. But what I'm trying to get at, is me offering you my clarity of what I thought you should do did nothing for you.
No,
and it was you having to come to your own clarity on it.
Exactly. And we may witness this all around us, and watching in ourselves, and allowing, the questions to be there, or what we ourselves may feel about our own journey, and not putting our overlays on somebody else. And right. Yes. Till they really anchor. And I had to sit with that a while and work through all the pieces for, a choice, which was big.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's huge. Yes. Yeah. So that's exactly what we made.
Yeah. And so in being clear on little things can be a little different than being clear on big things, like when it comes to shifting in consciousness, right?
Right.
When it comes to shifting in consciousness, our ego doesn't like that. You know, the little
Exactly.
things the ego doesn't care so much about, but
Yeah,
these
I want
moments.
a latte versus an espresso. You
Right, right,
know? I get a little clarity, there. Versus, yes, a big shift for the higher good of all.
right. They tend to be big. Those choices and decisions are bigger, and they take a little more energy.
Mhm.
And especially these moments of each month when we have awareness, experience, choice, the ultimate awareness is about consciousness. The ultimate choice is about consciousness. You know, it's not necessarily, do you want to work this job or that job or buy this car or that car? It's about, do you want to expand? Do you want to lift? Because we are in a cycle of ascension and lifting
Mhm.
and growing and evolution, or we could be in a spiral of de-evolution and going backwards based on our choices. So
Mhm.
when these months come, and right now we're in a choice month, right? We're always getting clarity and having the experience of our awareness of the choices we've made. So these tend to be big. So we just come out of an experience, and now we're like, based on this experience, based on what we were shown in October, of where we're at, maybe where our judgments still lie, where we
Right.
maybe need more healing. You know, I got
Mhm.
very clear in October what I had to do to really release a lot so that I could be more clear and active in my choice. And ultimately, the choice is about, do you want to keep lifting more? Do you want to keep saying yes to the truth of who you are? Do
Living
you want
authentic.
to lift into higher frequencies and more authenticity? And
Mhm.
so all of these experiences based on your choice will show you what you need to do in order to follow that choice that you've chosen.
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, and on that, I keep feeling that sense of and having compassion for ourselves,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So much
Yes.
so. If we're not clear in the moment, sometimes rest is needed,
Right.
and a little detachment and that inner solitude is so vital and sometimes very challenging in this world, right?
Right.
Stuff
Right.
coming at us all the time, especially with cell phones and da da da. And
Mhm.
and to really be, in that silent mind, to hear that inner voice of your true self, of
Right.
your guidance, I
Right.
found very, very powerful last month.
Right.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, there's a number of things we can do to get that clarity, and that's one of them, right? The solitude
Hmm.
and being in a high frequency place, you
Yes.
know, wherever that might be. You know, oftentimes when you go, drive up to the top of the mountain, tend to be a lot more clear because that energy is clearer. There's a lot less distractions. There are a lot less um, electronic distractions, right? In that field of energy,
Hmm.
it's just not up there.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so the clarity can be better. And then you have to really, I have found, you have to own those moments, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
this is the place I was. I was clear while I was there. Hold on to it, because when you come back down, you jump into the world and you get doing your things, it's so easy to doubt what you're knowing.
Yes. Yes. That's a very good point here. Yeah, to really breathe that in and hold it and claim it, write it out sometime, to really anchor that left side of the brain around it.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, for us, I say us, me and some other people in our spiritual community live in this area. It's that call to nature is greater than ever. And we also talked about how animals are just showing up so helpful lately. And that water, if you're not near mountains or whatever, sometime that peace and solitude to help embrace and anchor that
Right,
is
right.
what are our favorite places that feel that connection.
Right. Well, the flow the water offers always brings clarity. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I've found lately, my experience was really how the trust is tied to the clarity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'd never really considered this before, but that's what this month is all about. It's about the foundation of clarity through trust. And so I'm going to use, my recent story as an example of that.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
moved to Boise, Idaho, 8 years ago from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Long divorce, lots, 7 years in a court and 3 years of divorcing, I believe, before that. And it was huge, a lot with the kids. I had to leave my kids, a lot of going back and forth over businesses we own. And so when I landed in Boise, I still had like a lot, right? And so, and I came with me. I mean, I had to pack up really fast. So literally, I moved this household of 5, all the stuff to Boise with me, put it in my apartment and collapsed and took care of myself and gradually got rid of the big stuff, the furniture, but I was still
Mhm.
carrying a lot of the old family items around me and I hadn't gotten rid of them. And so that energy still stays with you. It still keeps you tied to the past and it affects your energy more than you know.
Yes.
Or I'll say it affected my energy more than I know, and you can decide if it's affecting you or not.
Right.
All you got to do is get rid of it for a while and see how you
And
feel, and then
yep.
bring it back in again and see what happens, and you'll notice if it
Yep.
affects your
Tune
energy.
in. Tune in. Yep.
And so I got to the point where, like, okay, in my mind, when I get a home, I'm going to empty all this out, sort it all out, and get rid of the stuff where I have space. I have a garage, I have a yard, I can have a garage sale. And so I was still holding on to it. Well, then it got so that I couldn't buy a house. It was challenging. The market was changing. And the bottom line is that I didn't totally trust enough in me and my process. And partly it was because of all that I had just gone through. I had just gone through 7 years of legal papers, 7 years of signing documents, 7 years of dealing with lawyers and judges. And there was a part of me thinking, God, I don't want to get back into this again. Can I trust this process will be easy? Can I trust this time I'll be taken care of and I won't be taken advantage of? Right? Think about you're buying a house. If you're taken advantage of, right, you can lose a lot of money. So there was so much trust for me that had to go into this process based on my previous experience that I didn't really move when I had a few opportunities. So I ended up in another apartment, basically hauling all the garbage with me, all the past with me. And this one was so small that there wasn't even space to kind of clear it out. So I put it all in a bedroom and there it sat thinking, okay, I'm set up. I'm in a 6-month lease. I'm going to buy a house now. And I just left it all sit there. Why go through it now? I'll do it when I get to a house. Well, then COVID happened. The market changed. People were moving in from states all around. They were coming in with loads of cash and they were buying 50, 60,000 above asking, throwing out the home inspections, throwing out, all these things. And I started to go out into the market again and went, I can't do this. I don't want to. Again, it was, I couldn't trust enough to compete with going against couples competition, the illusion of competition, right? And
Exactly.
I
And
couldn't.
especially whatever all the old beliefs were from what you had gone
Right.
through. Yes.
Right, exactly. And in my deeper knowing, which I know that that's what this month is about, is knowing in your heart of hearts that you're a creator. So no matter what the market's saying, you're a creator. You can create anything. You can create it how you want. You don't have to have a house that has competition with it, right? So in my heart of hearts, and I remember sharing that with you before, right? I would say to you, I know this is challenging, but I know if there's a house for me, it'll be there. I know that I'm a creator. I know that I'm supported, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so I knew these things, but it still wasn't totally, I guess I knew it, but I hadn't owned it. Maybe
There we
that was
go.
the difference.
Right. Did you get clarity then on some areas where maybe harboring, whether they're generational, past life, or this lifetime, around that?
Right.
The limits or the, the
Yeah.
embodying
Yeah.
it.
Whatever it wasn't really working out out for me.
Right.
And
Right.
so here I am, another 4 years in another place, swimming in those old energies. Well, I can tell you, literally, my body gained 15 pounds of literally toxicity energy and inflammation and a number of other things, to the point where I know that I've created IBS,
Mm-hmm.
which is because as I've been unpacking, as I've been going through now, and I found a place. So I'll share that. I signed today. So
You
we're getting to
did!
the
Celebration!
exciting part of the story here.
Yes!
As I'm going through packing and looking at all this stuff, I'm finding myself irritable that I've had this around me and I haven't been able to get rid of it, literally, like they call IBS. So my body was actually speaking to me, showing me where I wasn't clear, showing me where I was holding on to toxicity, where I was inflamed, where I was angry, where I was frustrated, where I couldn't move and I wanted to, and it was blocking my creativity and a number of things. So, needless to say, I finally found a place right before I went to Tosa Blue Mountain, Ecuador, before the spring equinox. I put an offer on it and they didn't accept it. I went to Tosa Blue Mountain, where you can get crystal clear, tell you that, crystal clear. And when I came back, it went under contract twice while I was gone in 10 days, and it fell through both times. And they came back to me asking me if I would like to negotiate they're willing to negotiate now. And so I ended up with the house, and it's perfect. It was everything I wanted, and affordable and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it funny how in an intense market, something could go under contract twice and fall out of it last minute and come back to me? And it was really, the core of it was trusting. Absolutely. It was all about trust.
Right. And you weren't so attached that had to be it then either, right, Geri? Because there's that piece too.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? We hold that intention and we're not like, when's it coming? When's it coming? When's it coming? No. We just, the highest maybe, may serve, right?
No, you were 100% on that, because literally I made the offer the day before I got on the plane, or 2 days before. And I left it with, if the right house is coming to me. So if this isn't the right house, then great, fine. The right one will come behind it. Exactly. And so that was the energy I left with. Exactly. Yeah. And the beautiful part of it was, the fun part was, when I decided before I left that this was the place for me, I stood in there a while with the realtor and was decorating it. This is where I put the couch. This is where I put the blah, 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 blah. And I went through the whole process. When I came back the second time, when they wanted to negotiate, they had brought in a stager who actually brought in furniture and had staged the house in the manner that I had visioned it with my eyes, where I would have things. Yes. So, and that brought me clarity as well, is look at how quickly I can create what I want. Why am I not trusting my power of creation and defaulting on old patterns and defaulting on the way the rest of the world lives, right? And I'm just seeing, like, the more intense it gets in the world, the more, I shouldn't say intense, but the more polarity, the more, well, yeah, it's intensity.
Intense fans.
Yeah.
Chaos.
The more of all of that, the more we absolutely have to trust. Right. And the harder it is. Years before, it would have been easier for me to trust this house thing. It would have been much easier. But as more people started moving in, and the market shift and the interest rate shift, and and the competition is greater, right? And so, and they're all illusions.
That's it. But our density aspects of ourselves and used to being in this dimension, our egoic self absolutely is going to stop, pause.
Yep. And it could cause you to retreat if you're not totally trusting.
Self-sabotage. We can do that quite a bit, witnessing that.
Right. Yeah.
And not be conscious that we are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
now I'm seeing, wow, wow, wow. Like I'm very, very, very clear as I'm clearing out and going through, and I'm gonna dump so much. I will be my eyes will probably be twice the size next week. But
Right.
Patty, I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about our younger generation. When
Mhm.
we graduated in the
Mm.
80s, it was
Before
so
then.
yeah, or before then. Yeah,
Yeah.
so easy for us to go out into the world and get a job. I mean, the markets were stable. The political scene wasn't anything like it is now. The media was at least semi-reasonable, right? There wasn't the distractions. There wasn't even iPhones, you know,
No.
none of
No.
those things. And we could just know that as we go out into the world, we would go to school, we'd probably have fun. We didn't have to really worry about the cities we are in. I didn't lock my doors ever wherever I was.
Mhm.
And I would go get a good job. And that was just something you knew was gonna happen, right? There was no question marks around it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And now look what our young people have to do is they are going out into college. Just think at the level of trust they're gonna need to do the same steps that we did,
Mhm. Mhm.
because they're in the environment, there's so many question marks everywhere, right? There's so much uncertainty if you buy into that, right?
True. Yeah. Yeah. It is very different with a lot coming at them. And yet, what I told my children as they went through college and others, is one way that they will discover more of themselves and gain their own clarity about what they really want and where their passions, interests, and skills are is by trying so many things and getting clear what you don't want.
Oh, exactly.
Right?
Right,
Right? And
right.
that there's nothing wrong with that, that there's not this set way you find, this one career at this age and stay with it or any of those beliefs either.
Mhm.
Not to be hard on themselves. Oh, well, I'm such and such age and I don't know what I want to do or how I want to, where I want to live. And to that's a beautiful way to gain clarity is keep trying areas and get clear what we don't want.
Right,
that exploring, that adventurous, that
right.
sense. But it is a very they chose to come in at an interesting time.
Yeah, I'll say, yeah, the level of trust and empowerment and clarity they're needing
Yes.
to do the same steps that we went through is significantly more. So if you have younger children that have had challenges, like mine did going through the divorce, right? I know that all that they went through offered them everything they needed for now.
Yes. Yes. That's
So I know I had a conversation with my youngest son who had the hardest time in the divorce, and I asked him if there was anything he learned from it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm fearless. There's nothing I can't do now." Right?
wow. Isn't that beautiful? That is so beautiful. I remember one of the first things one of my mentors said when I went for healing was, and I went in and they said, you need to let go of all the guilt because all of your children chose to be born into your family and to walk through losing their father very young. And they too, they all develop this compassion and that same, there's nothing I can't do. They're out living around the world and following their
Right.
dreams.
Yes,
And
exactly.
so we can't take away these hardships. We don't know what, especially as a parent, you want to kind of shield your children. And yet
Exactly.
that's exactly what their soul's walking through for their development of who they really are.
Right,
Clarity.
right. And that clarity is so freeing for you, I'm sure, when you heard that, and especially for me too, after I talked to my youngest son and he shared
Mhm.
that, it was like, wow, wow,
Yes.
it's so freeing, it's freeing from guilt for sure, right?
Yes. One of those heaviest emotions to keep dumping. Yep.
Yeah.
That's it's beautiful sharing.
Yes. So, yeah, so trust is a big piece. If you can trust your guidance, that helps your clarity. And then the action steps that you take will ultimately give you, I mean, I'm seeing the action steps that I'm taking literally busting into tears as I go.
Yeah.
You
Do you find, Jerry, that you have to walk? Because a big piece too is that developing trust, I find, is keep stepping outside comfort zones,
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, mhm.
Yeah. If you're not stepping outside your comfort zone often, you're probably not growing a whole
No,
lot.
no. And that's where I'm witnessing people around me recently that, in this time now, that's scary. That's so
Right.
scary. And to that hurting inner child that would rather sometimes stay in that old pain than
Right.
step out in that trust out of their comfort zones in order to gain the greater access to who they really are and that flow of clarity and
Right.
potential joy and peace.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I was really surprised because literally after, I've been wanting my own place for so many years. And after I signed the papers and wrote the check, I just sat in my car and like cried and just cried because it
Yes.
was so so much, right?
Yep.
So much trusting that you'll be able to take care of it on your own, trusting you'll have what you need when you need it, trusting that I mean, I was married previously when I owned a house by
Right. You
myself.
didn't have to do that all on
I
your.
didn't ha-
Oh,
yeah, I didn't have to deal with the furnace if there's a problem or the water softener if there's a problem, winterizing the sprinklers and cleaning out the gutters and I'm like, oh my God, he keeps telling me things I'm gonna have to do. Can I do all this? Can I call on the people I'm gonna need? And I'm in a place where I don't have family here to call on.
right. You don't have the
So
8 brothers I have.
yes, 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 yes. So it's all of that, and then the excitement that I finally did it, and I made it through,
Yeah.
and the contract was good, and the support that I had around me was stellar. I mean,
Oh,
absolutely
good.
stellar. They couldn't have. I mean, tell you what. I think I had a legion of angels along with these four people that literally like
Yeah.
held my hand. So it was that was really clarifying too. Like, wow, look at the support that I can really call in. And, you know, when I,
Exactly.
especially, I don't know how many people I've heard say when I've taken the leap, when I've trusted and done something big, it always turns out good, but there's always the hesitancy beforehand. Like, is it going to be okay? Am I going to make it? Am I going to make it when
Absolutely.
I jump? And
Yes.
I've found every time that I've taken a leap, there's always a huge landing board there, like
Yes.
always.
Yes. Never regretted it. Right?
Right.
Yes. Go for it. You won't regret it. Just might be another piece of that clarity and perspective, or it may be something really, really answer to a dream. So, yeah, in the chat there, thank you for sharing.
Take a peek. Okay, thanks. I'm taking a look at the call board too, just to make sure there's not anyone in the call board. Okay, just a shout out, a little hello to Angela and Batia. And I think I saw Geri. Yes, hi. Glad you're all here. So yeah, this is a super, super exciting moment for me as I can feel the clarity happening within me as I clear out the old and get ready for the new, and I can
Mhm.
feel the creative
Mhm.
energy coming in at the same time because
Mhm.
all that old energy gets freed up
Yes.
and there's more room to create new. So completely excited. I think I told you I've been watching a show on Netflix called Home Edit for the past week because I'm so excited to clean out the old, get in the new, clean out the old. Literally, I've watched 2 seasons of it in 1 week. That's all there is to it. And it's a show of just watching people
Yes.
clean closets.
And that's so beautiful, Jerry, that you're sharing that, because I found myself even, it may not be something as big as a move, although I'm preparing to go away for the winter for a few months, but it's just like, oh, after, October ended, all of a sudden it's like I've got to go through my closet and just get rid of some clothes that no longer feel like me. So
Right.
that we trust these evolutionary chapters, or
Right.
dimensions we're in, and they're all of a sudden we like rearranging our environment or bringing in higher vibe support of pyramids and whatever.
Exactly.
Hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, it's the perfect time to do that when you're going through your old the summer stuff to clear it out and
yeah.
um
What's no longer me at this moment, and
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
colors inspire, and what
Uh,
uplifts me, and what supports. Yes, to
and
really.
those the older things really have a stronger effect on your energy than you might imagine. And so it's so
Mhm.
helpful, I think, to pull things out often and like either put them in a storage somewhere and see how you feel, see how it
Yes.
affects you.
Mhm.
Because it's surprising. Every time your eyes glance at something, it triggers a memory and it
Right.
triggers an emotion. It triggers a time and a space. So if your plan is to go into outer space or to claim your
Cosmos, absolutely.
superpowers,
Yes.
which are out of this
Yes.
world,
Yes.
you may want to clean your slate.
Right, right. One thing that came forward for me was wearing heirloom jewelry that was a parent's or something. That I and especially not wearing it on a finger that might want something more. Right? And I mean, I had cleared it, but yet it still felt like it carried still so much of that old.
Right.
So it hasn't been feeling right to wear that.
Yeah. 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 You have to be so discerning,
Hmm.
especially for clarity wise, too. So discerning really about everything, food, where you live,
Yes. Yes.
people you
Yes.
hang around, what you're
Yes.
wearing.
That was a big theme in October too.
Mm-hmm.
Old friends, old acquaintances that we spent time with, is that still feel nourishing and in alignment with who we are in the moment?
Mm-hmm.
And, really paying attention, or do we go from obligation, or,
Right.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yep.
yeah,
All of that stuff. Okay, Patty. Well, let's. I'm going to take a peek at our timeline here.
yep, it's time. Yep, 6:38. You're 4:38.
Okay. Okay. So maybe I'm going to grab. Since we're talking about clarity, it would be only fitting to pull
Oh,
up cards
right.
of clarity, right?
Cards of clarity. There you go.
And I actually have to get up to grab them.
Okay.
I wasn't organized enough due to my house signing. Due to my house signing,
Oh,
I lost my
oh.
clarity. Now I found them.
Oh.
Okay. Yes, I would bet yes on the team of angels backing you up. Yes. And I have to tell you some magic before we go here, Geri, and
Yeah.
anyone else. Um, the first house that I bought with my family, this was a blessing house. Like it was a magic house. And I had designed the whole house in my mind. And I kept reciting back then. I didn't really trust that I was creator, but I knew there was these angels that were helping me. It was
Yes.
very clear because they would show up and I could feel them. And so I was imaging this house over and over, and I had a mantra. And my mantra was, the angels are bringing me the house of my dreams. The angels are bringing me the house of my dreams. And while I was on my way to a jewelry selling conference, I got this big, like whoosh, I can't even explain it, feeling around me and this massive amount of love. And I was in tears instantly. And I heard in my ear, we got you your house. It's a gift from us. And it was that weekend then that we went looking for houses in another town. And my husband at the time said, well, let's take a look at this house over here. It's not listed with anyone. It's a for sale by owner. We go look at it. It's blue. The carpet's blue. The ceiling's blue. The fireplace is blue. Everything's blue. It's like a slate gray, but it looked blue. And on the wall, and this is a huge wall because it's got a vaulted ceiling. It's a 6,000 square foot house. Way up on the loft area is this cloud going someone had painted a cloud blowing in an angel across the entire dining room. Okay, so this house is a townhouse. It looks like that house shrunk. But anyways, that house, the price was 444. And this house, it was funny when we were doing the numbers, it ended up at one thing and it ended up at another thing as they were shifting it. And at the very end, I thought to myself, it would be funny if it ended up at 333. And it did. It ended up at 333. And it was, and it came to me while I was at Tulsa Blue Mountain. And so, yeah, there's been some magic. There has been no physical angel sightings on the walls as of yet. But I have no doubt they're in there somewhere.
Absolutely. You will feel and connect and see something. Absolutely. Yeah. So you do
okay.
cards of clarity, and I'll do from this Elfin Quest. What do we need? Okay, so the message, and there's always a beautiful angel god and a sigil, is rest in the arms of eternal existence, observing with delight the pageantry of the procession of life. Enjoy with humor the alternating roles you play as your contribution. Like that. Yep.
Nice.
Delight in the pageantry flowing in front of us, through us, and as us.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and so I pulled Archangel 7, Gabriel.
7.
And what does it mean to communicate with authenticity? This vital energy is calling you to expand your paradigm of interaction with everything. Remove your communication boundaries and allow yourself to express in new and exciting ways. Sing, dance, gaze into the eyes of those around you. This is just the beginning. As you embrace the divine in action through your expanded communication, resolution is ever present. You have the inner strength to stretch this paradigm, and the moment is now. And so I often find when I pull a Gabriel card, there is a throat clearing. So if you are noticing anything, within the day or tomorrow with your throat clearing, oftentimes that's what the Gabriel card will
and
bring
it's
forth.
definitely listening deeper within to that inner guidance, trusting that.
Okay, everyone. Well, it was great. Have a fabulous week.
Thank you for joining for our chat here.
Yep. Namaste, all.
Okay.